May 2019 has been a pretty rough month for stocks, with major indices dropping by more than 5%. It has not been a very enjoyable month for actual traders. However, our degenerate friends over at WallStreetBets always have a way of making something out of nothing. Let's check out the Dankest trades of May 2019. Let's kick things right off with Dank Trade number 5. On May 21st, the S&P ETF was trading just below 287, and our buddy chlageles just knew that trouble was brewing. The trade war with China was in full swing, and it didn't look like anything was going to change anytime soon. Going with his gut, chlageles bet over $27,000 that the S&P ETF would drop below 283.75 by the end of May. He bet his whole portfolio on that one trade like a madman, but within 2 days, he had already doubled the amount of money in his portfolio, up $31,000. Even though he made 31 grand, he's probably still pretty upset because if he had held that position until expiration, he would have been up about $128,000. And that is what WallStreetBets is all about. So congratulations to chlageles, and let's check out Dank Trade number 4. As the trade war between the US and China was really ramping up in the beginning of May 2019, our buddies at WallStreetBets started doing the most autistic things you can imagine. A shining example of degeneracy at WallStreetBets, stormwillpass decided to go long the market. Being a contrarian, he decided to go in deep on stocks that had lots of exposure to China. The results were so devastating that at one point he was down over $30,000. That's about as much as chlageles had made. There's no doubt this was his biggest one-day loss. It was so bad that even Irony Man was getting in on the joke. Freaking Irony Man. Press F to pay respects for stormwillpass, and let's move on to Dank Trade number 3. So just a little context here. At the very end of 2018, stocks crashed really hard, and they've spent most of the beginning of 2019 bouncing back from their lows. WallStreetBets degenerate optionsarehard spent the beginning of 2019 buying puts and then switched over to calls in the beginning of May. If we zoom in just a little bit, we can see why this type of trading was so dank and pitiful. Optionsarehard's timeline shows that he spent this entire time buying puts, expecting the market to go lower. Then he changed his mind right here and bought calls, expecting the market to go higher. Worst timing ever. If you look at what happened to his positions, they were all essentially worthless by the end of the month. But it's not that bad. He only lost 92.5% of his portfolio, and he's still got another $638 that he can YOLO his next trade with. It might even be a good idea to follow optionsarehard and do the opposite of whatever he does. Keep that strategy in mind as we check out Dank Trade number 2. On Friday, May 24th, Advanced Micro Devices ended the day at $26.41. The stock rocketed up higher on Monday, and by Tuesday afternoon, it was trading at $29.42. An 11% move like that means serious cash for anybody who's holding faggy Ds. When the stock was trading for about 26 bucks, afraidtoleavemystoop apparently thought it was a good idea to buy 70 calls that were 23% out of the money. That is the definition of a faggy D. But just this once, it worked out. And afraidtoleavemystoop multiplied his entire portfolio over 7 times. As a raw number, he didn't make a lot, but as a percentage, that's absolutely incredible and lucky. But let's take a look at what he describes as his kicker. Like a true degenerate, he's still holding, and the strike price is $32. That's over $4.50 out of the money. If he's honestly holding, he's about to give all that money back. And now the wildest trading for the month of May, it's Dank Trade number 1. According to some gay chef, he had a moment of autistic clairvoyance on May 20th. Homochef's crystal ball told him the S&P would rise, so he did the only reasonable thing he could do, YOLO 30 grand worth of out-of-the-money calls. The stars aligned for the gay chef, and by the end of the next day, the S&P was up by about 1%, and his calls were up 30%. That's 10 grand in gains. But to any good degenerate, 10 grand just is not enough. So homochef decided to make some real money by selling all his calls and switching jackets to buy puts on Oracle and Spider. And as though homochef's luck could not run out, the stocks just kept grinding lower, adding value to his puts. In 4 days, homochef went 4 for 4 on his trades and more than tripled his account value from $30,000 up to $115,000. I'm not going to say homochef's moment of autistic clairvoyance was actually a phone call from the CEO of Oracle, but I am going to say that homochef shouldn't be too surprised if the SEC come bashing through his door. And you know what's even more incredible than the fact that he made 85 grand in 4 days? Is the fact that he's still down 15 grand overall. Like, how? In any case, I hope you've found some inspiration by watching your degenerate friends make and lose tons of money in the stock market in May. President Donny Boy is bound to bring us a whole lot more excitement in June, and that means there will be a lot more money to be made. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.